Cha-Cha, this week on The Weekend View, Anna said that she would clone you. How do you feel about this? Have you given your consent? Do you feel like a cloned version of you would be the same as you? Cha-Cha and I just went in depth a little bit while you were gone. We did a little interview.
Yeah.
I asked her feelings about being cloned. All right, let's get into it. Anna, before we get started, you're tired. You were just telling me this. And I think I know part of the reason why. You like to use me, you call me your Alexa or your Siri, which I resent a little bit. But then this happened the other day because you wrote to me and you said that you just discovered, and this was Wednesday, you just discovered that the clocks changed.
No, and I had discovered it because I was actually on the plane, or I was somewhere, and I was on the plane, and I was listening to Joy's podcast with you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This is what I got from you. It was Tuesday at 5:36 in the afternoon. What? I had no idea the time had changed until I heard you and Joy were talking about it. When the hell did that happen? I said Saturday night at 2 o'clock in the morning. How does one even know? I don't understand. Am I sleeping 1 hour more or 1 hour less? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I still don't know.
Okay.
I literally still don't know if it's 1 hour less or 1 hour more. But here's the problem. Okay.
Yes.
When I was younger, when I was growing up, and there was this time change, you had to go and change all the clocks in your house,
Yes.
right? Manually. The clock on your kitchen, the clock in your room. You had to, the worst was the clock in the car, which required like knowing how to operate.
Yeah, you need a postgraduate degree. Yeah.
Right. I would never change the clock in my car. So like for 6 months, I knew I had the wrong time.
Right.
And I knew whether it was ahead or behind or whatever the hell it is. Now all the clocks change automatically, right? The car changes automatically. The iPad, the iPhone. I don't even wear a watch anymore. My smart TVs all change. Did
you not notice you were tired or not tired? Did you notice you got a little extra sleep one night? Nothing?
Nada. Nothing. And unlike Joy's ornery, high-maintenance dog,
Yes.
Cha-Cha will sleep until I sleep. If I sleep until 3 in the afternoon, which I never do, but if I did, Cha-Cha would be asleep next to me until 3 in the afternoon.
Look at Cha-Cha now. You got to get proof of life in poker. I mean, like, she's always asleep.
If I wake up at 5 in the morning, she will wake up at 5 in the morning and be ready to go. She's just, she will do, as needed.
She's like a smartphone. She updates.
She is a smartphone.
Yeah. I will say the extra hour of sleep I was so excited about it.
I had no idea that I'd gotten an extra hour.
All right. Well, here we are.
0.
All right. Well, I do want to talk about something that happened when you weren't on the show this week. We had Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's making the rounds in the media, and she was here right on The View on Tuesday. Did you get to watch the show? What did you make of what she was saying? There were many who wished you were here, too. What did you think of it?
And we had talked about this, I think, last week when it was announced that she was coming.
Right.
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I am seeing a lot of people are not. And they think that this is political opportunism for some reason. I saw that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put out a TikTok spilling the tea as to what she was saying was the reason that Marjorie Taylor Greene was doing this.
Yeah, it was a revenge tour, she said.
She said it was a revenge tour against Trump. You see, I don't think so because she loves Trump and she does not, she has not changed one bit when it comes to Trump himself, which I think leads to some inconsistencies on some of the things she says.
Yes.
But I do think she hates Mike Johnson. Remember during that leadership fight with Kevin McCarthy, she was team Kevin McCarthy.
Yes.
And so I don't think she has any love lost for him and, has no qualms about attacking him and attacking GOP leadership. Listen, I think people evolve and people mature. I think people sometimes get tired of being rabble-rousers and just kind of cartoonish characters. I also think, she has been saying over and over again something that I always talk about. She has been talking about the phone calls that come into her office and how they track them. most congressional offices have somebody on staff that basically all they do is track the calls. And so you know where your constituents are and how they're feeling about certain issues. And she is hearing from her constituents that they are unhappy about this healthcare stuff. Listen, this healthcare stuff is a real problem. The healthcare subsidies and the healthcare premiums. People are getting notices that their healthcare premiums are going up 3 times. And then add to that the lack of subsidies. I think it's going to lead to a lot of Americans dropping healthcare this year, and that is going to lead to a lot of problems for our population. People are not going to go get medical tests. People are going to get sick. People are going to die. It's going to be a problem if all of a sudden we have millions of people dropping health insurance. So, I'll tell you what I was impressed with. And I said to Joy, maybe I'm being naive, but I kind of believe her.
It's a little out of character for you. I got to be honest. And I think
Tuesday, I thought I was having an out-of-body experience.
Right.
I wake up to the news that Dick Cheney is dead, and I find myself feeling Dick Cheney nostalgia because these folks are so bad. I miss Bush and Cheney. And also, and then I tune into The View, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is making all sorts of sense. And I'm thinking, my God, talk about Freaky Friday. This is like Freaky Tuesday. I'll say this about Dick Cheney. He had a lot of flaws. He was scary and sinister and probably the most powerful vice president we've had, at least in my time in this country. One thing I appreciate about him tremendously, that guy stood behind his daughters. There is an interview, Wolf Blitzer, nicest, most polite man on TV, asking him, I think it was 2007, his daughter is a lesbian, Mary.
Yes.
He's got 2 daughters, Liz and Mary. Mary is a lesbian. Mary is married, and Mary was pregnant in her lesbian relationship. And Wolf Blitzer asked, you're about to have another grandchild. Mary is pregnant, and there are people in your party attacking you and criticizing this because it is marriage.
I think we have the moment. Let's actually play it.
I'm delighted. I'm about to have a 6th grandchild, Wolf, and obviously think the world of both my daughters and all of my grandchildren. And I think, frankly, you're out of line with that question.
Did you see the way he looked at Wolf? He practically pulverized him, and turned him into salt.
As the father of daughters, I get it. Yeah.
And this was 2007. Like, not even Barack Obama was out there supporting gay marriage and gay relationships
but
at the
it's
time.
what Joy always says, when it's you, when it hits your family, when it hits your person. And maybe this goes back to Marjorie Taylor Greene, too.
And then you saw the way he supported his daughter, Liz.
Yes.
When she was in that January 6th committee, and came out and supported Kamala Harris. So when it comes to his 2 daughters, that guy was unconditional.
Yes, I wouldn't want to go hunting with him.
Listen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to go anything with him, but he was unconditional, supportive of his 2 daughters, which I think is he put family over politics, and I think that's a very important thing. Also. On Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, so let's go back to this stuff. I think people need to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
I mean, so what can happen? That she's playing us? Why? What does she have to win from playing us and all of a sudden sounding like a logical, reasonable Republican? What does she have to win from taking on her party leadership and from having a different opinion and expressing it from Donald Trump? I really kind of was struck by the whole woman theme.
Yeah.
And how she's taken the responsibility of what being a woman in Congress means. And she was consistent throughout, right? Because she said she's talking about Epstein. And let's say this woman has been talking about releasing the Epstein files from day one.
She has. And she's never wavered.
Never wavered. She said on the program that she had told the victims she was willing to read the names out loud because they are afraid of being sued if they release those names. And she said, I have immunity. I will read them out loud on the floor of the House. She said she would never be able to vote for Cuomo, despite the fact that Trump had come out and endorsed him the night before because of the women issues, right? Because of the sexual harassment. Now, the follow-up that we should have asked,
We talked about this with
was-
Sonny yesterday. Yeah.
how come you still support Trump?
Right.
Who had even more sexual harassment claims
yeah.
against him and has been found, liable in the E. Jean Carroll case. Today, I heard her say,
Which he denied, I have to say, of course.
with Wolf Blitzer. She was on with Wolf today, and they were talking about Nancy Pelosi retiring, and she said, I really think people need to leave Washington before they get into their 80s. Well, Donald Trump is the oldest president in history. So she's making a lot of sense. She's saying the right things, and she's being consistent, but her blind spot continues to be
Right.
Donald Trump. Now, I also think Marjorie Taylor Greene has the luxury of confronting the leadership and Trump without paying repercussions, because I don't think Donald Trump is going to ever try to put somebody up to primary Marjorie Taylor Greene. And look, we have seen crazy conversions on the other side, right?
Yes.
I mean, J.D. Vance used to attack Trump. Marco Rubio used to attack Trump. Nancy Mace, my God, used to attack Trump.
I was going to say, the other person you were optimistic about, and I don't mean to call you out on it, was Pam Bondi.
Yeah, so much for my
yeah.
optimism. Well, listen, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no, which I think is fair to do.
She's been shameful. But so I do think that if we want more people to become reasonable compromisers seeking to work with the other side of the aisle, we have to let them know that the water is warm.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, if Marjorie Taylor Greene is out there saying these things that now make sense, and she's getting attacked on the right for taking on the party, and she's getting attacked by the left, basically saying, we don't believe you, you're just acting, you're just an opportunist, and God knows what your agenda is, we're on to you, we don't believe you, whack job. Then why would anybody else take that plunge? Now, I will say this. Republicans are all sorts of stupid if they don't take the message from the elections on Tuesday, right? I just heard yesterday or the Wednesday, I guess it was, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, like, nothing to see here. Everything is great. There's no message to be taken. This was fully expected. He's lying. They know they got trounced. They know they got trounced everywhere. Listen, as I said on the show on Wednesday, this, Virginia is a light blue state, purplish light blue. Mm-hmm. New Jersey is a blue state. But the margins of victory by the Democrats were huge, were much bigger than anybody expected. California, also a blue state. But the margin of victory of that Proposition 50 was much larger than anybody expected. And to me, something that I focused on two things. One was I was watching the race for AG in Virginia. The guy running for AG in Virginia was as flawed a candidate as you can find, right? The Democrat. There were texts that were revealed that he had sent to a colleague fantasizing about the death of the Republican Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was happening in the midst of the Charlie Kirk assassination, and it was, as everybody was talking,
the text chain of young Republicans.
Democrats were being asked to denounce him and call for him dropping out of the race. The guy stayed in, and the guy won by 6 points.
Right.
So that should tell you that people were so mad and so against the idea of voting for somebody that was going to be a rubber stamp for Trump that they voted for this guy. The other thing I was watching and paid a lot of attention to, and you have heard me say this over and over again on this podcast and on the show, Donald Trump made great strides, great inroads with the Latino community. They have buyer's remorse. Not everyone. God knows I'm surrounded by people who still love him and think he walks on water. But sizable amounts of Latinos in New Jersey in particular,
I saw that number,
who voted for Trump in 2024, voted for the Democrats. And so the message to me is clear. Whether Republicans take it or not, maybe they shouldn't take it because that way they'll get defeated in the midterms. But the message is the American people think Donald Trump has gone too far and want him to be reined in. They want there to be oversight. They want there to be checks and balances. And what we have in Congress right now, what we have in Republican legislators and governors in red states are rubber stamps who say yes to every whack job idea that he puts forth, whether it's tariffs, whether it's, a draconian immigration crackdown, whether it's sending the military into the streets of America, whether it's dropping drones on Venezuelan boats and, having a U.S. warship stationed on the coast of Venezuela. They all just say everything Trump does is fine. The American people are over that and want pushback. And so the Republicans either take that message, grow a backbone and a couple of other body parts, and get themselves to act on behalf of their constituents and the American interest, or they continue licking Donald Trump's boots. And that's going to get them defeated, despite the fact that they are trying to fix the elections by crafting these districts, not just in Texas. We talk a lot about Texas, but it's not just Texas. It's a bunch of states. It's Ohio, it's Missouri, it's North Carolina. Of course, my Florida is talking about redistricting also. And I think it's important to understand this because I don't know if people, to put it in context. We do, the U.S. government does a federal census every 10 years.
Right.
On, 2000, 2010, 2020. From the results of that census, states get the number of districts that they're going to get, and that's when the state legislators, usually the legislatures or whatever state process there is, draw the congressional districts. Those districts stay that way for the next 10 years until there is a new census. Republicans are right now not after a census, but because Donald Trump wants to have more sure win congressional districts, they are redistricting to draw congressional districts that will be won by Republicans, where they are putting so many Republican voters in that they feel there will be a sure win for Republicans. I'm sorry. That is changing the rules of the game halfway through the game. I am sorry. That is cheating. And I know Sarah says all the time that she's against Newsom doing it. Newsom didn't start this. Newsom would have never tried to redistrict in California, but for what Trump and his minions are doing in Texas and other states. So I just don't understand how you can, ask Democrats to just be there with their hands down and get pummeled while they're seeing this happen because they're standing on, I don't know what, moral high ground. Well, moral high ground ain't going to win an election.
Yeah, well, we've learned that for sure. Before we go, I saw you were partying with Mark Anthony last night, as you were wont to do. And you're recovering right now. You're putting on a brave face, but before we started, you seemed like you were still recovering. You have 2 giant coffees in front of you. Is that what we have here?
No, it's
teas?
tea.
Yeah,
and I've already had 2.
Yeah, you're caffeinated. Tell me about that. What were you doing?
So it's this annual gala. Mark Anthony co-founded this organization called Maestro Cares. It is a charity that does extraordinary work across Latin America and across the United States. It builds health facilities, educational facilities. It sponsors and funds programs that help children. He has built cancer centers in Paraguay. He has built after-school activity places here in the United States. A portion of his concerts, of the proceeds from his concerts, go to fund this. And then he has this annual gala here in New York every year where they give awards. So Eva Longoria was getting an award for being a humanitarian.
I have to drink.
Drinking game. There was another extraordinary artist. His name is J Balvin.
I know who that is.
You've heard of him? He also got an award, and he talked a lot about male mental health and those challenges. It's something he's been very open about. Anyways, and then Mark does a performance, but it's for a small crowd.
That's awesome.
And it's amazing. He did yesterday Hotel California, which
Really?
is something that is not part of his
Repertoire.
his records. Is not a salsa, but I just love Mark doing that, and I'm very excited because he is about to start a residency in Las Vegas next year, and he said it's going to be a completely new show. I think there might be some like Rat Packy themes in it. He's going to be singing in English. Yesterday we're in the dressing room, and with his wife and Eva's husband, and we're talking about this, and I said, well, like what kind of songs are you interested in singing? And he starts singing The Gambler.
Oh, wow.
I mean, can you imagine? Just
know when to hold them.
Yeah. And which I love. I love that
Me
song.
too.
I know every line of that song. But I mean, the thought of Mark Anthony singing that song
In Vegas.
because
That's awesome.
I told him that the country singer was on the show on Wednesday.
Kenny Chesney.
Yeah, who's great.
Yeah.
Enormous. Was
Huge
the
star.
nicest guy in the world. I have no idea who he is, but as usual.
Of course.
But I said to him that he was going to be doing a residency, that maybe they should do something together. So he starts breaking into The Gambler. So he's going to start at the Fontainebleau Hotel in February. So that's great. Hopefully there will be flights to Las Vegas that I can take by then, And you had an exciting night this week.
I did. I get to do my own little celebrity name drop.
Tell me.
I'm a part of this fantasy football league that I've referenced a couple of times. It's
Is there anything you don't bet on?
I guess this is technically betting, but it's a guillotine league, which is like a high concept version of fantasy football, and it's basically me and the Illuminati. I mean, it's really cool. And one of the people in this league, I'm by far the most insignificant person in this league.
You had literally been yawning. Like 3 minutes ago, I saw you stifle a yawn.
No,
and all of a sudden, you've perked up like a pot of coffee. Go ahead.
Well,
so you are the most insignificant person on this league. Okay, let me tell you.
As I am in most rooms. But we went to one of the people in the league is John Legend, superstar. You've heard of him. And we went to his concert at the Barclays Center, and it was unbelievable. He invited the whole league. Half the guys are in L.A., and they saw him at the Hollywood Bowl, and the others went to the Barclays Center, and Lauryn Hill performed and came out.
Are there any women in this fantasy league?
Rachel Lindsay, often a co-host on this show, and she's guest hosted a bunch of times. She was a bachelorette. She's got a very popular podcast. She's in the league, and there have been others in and out.
I ran into John Legend at the American Airlines lounge a few months ago, and I needed to go to the bathroom, so I left him taking care of Cha-Cha.
Your decoy, yeah.
I used my decoy.
Uh-huh.
And then he's got a dog food brand. He and Christy have a dog food brand named Kismet. And so a few days later, I got in my house a box the size of a coffin full with toys and food and treats. Cha-Cha loves the dog food treats.
He's such an impressive guy. He's very smart.
And you know what? He has spoken up. He has spoken up very loudly against political abuse. He stood up. He is from Springfield, Ohio, the town where Trump claimed last year Haitians were eating dogs and cats.
Yes.
And he stood up in defense of that town and pushed back. Lately, I have seen him push back on social media, but also at a time when a lot of celebrities are choosing to be silent, and when a lot of celebrities who were active in 2016 through 2020 have now taken a vow of silence. John Legend is standing up. He has stood against the immigration raids, the cruel immigration raids going on in LA. And I appreciate that, because what's happening in this country with immigration is not just a Latino problem.
Absolutely.
And we all need to stand together.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and it was a really.
And how
great
are you
show.
doing in the league? Are you winning anything?
I'm doing pretty well, hanging in there. I've won it once. I came in second once, and there's like 18 people in it. But before we go, I want to bring this up. My sister keeps telling me she's listening to the podcast, and I think she's lying. So if you're really listening to this podcast, Allison, I need you to say the word to me, sassafras. Now we'll know. We'll see.
By the way, Allison, he has house envy. He says your house is nicer than his house.
It's much nicer than my house. It's very annoying. All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining me today, Anna. Tomorrow on The View, we have Rainn Wilson and Jeff Hiller with us. We'll see you on Behind the Table next week, and we'll talk to you then.
Behind the Table is executive produced by Brian Teta. Supervising producers are Nathan Getty and Summer Shea. Associate producers are Emily Darcy and Katerina Alexopoulos, and our editor is Brian Davis. Our digital coordinator is Molly Kaiser, and director of publicity is Laurie Hogan. From ABC Audio, Trevor Hastings serves as senior producer, with director of podcast programming Josh Cohan and executive producer Laura Mayer.